behavioral aspects, actually theory discussion of budgetary control. I'll discuss in brief first and then we'll go through the institute's literature. Please remember, whenever the word used is behavioral aspect, what do you understand from this word if you have studied management? Organization management was one subject somewhere in graduation. Good. Good. Was there a subject called management? Management is planning, organizing, staffing, coordinating, controlling, something like that. Management is getting work done from people, this type of definition, somewhere in some syllabus. Just try to recollect. Management. People do MBA, Master in Business Administration, right? Chartered accountants also try to do that. But chartered accountants should do it only from IIMs because you are already much better than local MBAs from ordinary institutes, right? Anyway, it's a behavioral management science. It's calling behavioral aspects of budgetary control. He has already hinted. It is a human behavior. Here we are talking about human behavior. It's called behavioral aspects. See, whatever I say here, whatever I utter, sometimes I talk in general, sometimes you have not given me an opportunity, sometimes otherwise people start taking their mobile out, then I shout at them. Now, suppose somebody takes out the mobile and I shout it loudly, that please get up, get out. That's my habit. Right? What that person will feel, how that person will react, what will be the behavior. That's behavioral aspect. And how I have behaved by looking at a person who has taken out the mobile in the running class. That's my behavior. So it's basically human related aspect. We are talking about behavioral aspects are how human beings behave. See, in an organization we have to deal with human beings. In the organization we have to deal with the human beings because organization consists of people, right? On whose shoulders the organization works or runs. So how human behavior is affected, or what is the type of human behavior when you implement a budgetary control system? That is what we are going to study. It's majorly related to human psychology or human behavior when you introduce in your organization a budgetary control system. Have you understood what we are trying to discuss next? Because then we will read out. But the matter is behavioral aspects of budgetary control. You may feel, what difference it makes? What difference it makes? Naturally, it makes a difference when you exercise any type of control. Suppose your boss doesn't give you the leave, he tells you that today till 9 o'clock you have to file the TDA, tax audit returns. You have to sit here. You said, I have to attend a lecture, it's an important lecture. He said, no, nothing doing, don't tell me. You have to first finish this work. What will be your behavior? Right? What you will feel inside? You may not be able to talk or express outside. All this is there. All this is there. First of all, whether human beings like to get controlled. General I am discussing. We'll discuss from institute's literature later. I am discussing from in general. It's a budgetary control mechanism. Basically what we do in budgetary control? We set the future targets. Correct? Then, after that period gets over, we compile the actual result. I had written all the steps of budgetary control if you remember. Then we compare the budgeted performance with actual performance. And we prepare the variance report. We do the analysis of causes, why the difference has taken place. If the variance is favorable, you may reward. Correct? If it is adverse, you will punish the concerned employee who is responsible for that variation. Now, what that person will feel? Or first of all, whether human beings are, whether they love to get controlled by others. As a human tendency, you, me, nobody. Nobody. Even today, a small child doesn't like to get controlled. You leave him alone. Let him do whatever he wants. So everyone should be at its own free will. Every human being wishes to do that. We call it as freedom. It could be freedom of doing anything, freedom of thinking, freedom of speech. You should not restrict me. And I think here you are putting a restriction. You are trying to put a control on the human behavior or action. So naturally, at first place, this is my general view, nobody likes to be controlled by others. So if the moment you introduce this mechanism, first reaction will be, no. Why someone else should set a target for me? If I am a salesperson, somebody else is giving me a target that next month your sales should be 5 crores. Somebody else is guiding me now. And then plus I have one worry in my mind, at the month end my performance will be compared. 5 crore was my sales target and actual sales which I have generated, I am a salesman suppose, actual sales which I have generated will be compared. And naturally when that analysis will be prepared, naturally what is going on inside, that my performance is getting analyzed by someone else and my future or my bonus or penalty is dependent upon this. So what you will feel inside, that is behavioral aspect of budgetary control. So even this is included, a human aspect is included, human behavior aspect is included in your syllabus a little bit. Naturally it is a theory aspect. Now there is one very good diagram, must be there somewhere, from which I will explain something, where it has gone. Okay, it's a little ahead. So I will discuss that diagram a little later. First I will go through few paragraphs, then I will discuss the diagram. I have just given you a brief idea. So come back to page 157. I will first go through what is written by institute. And then we will discuss the diagram also. Page 157. Human beings in general don't like to be controlled by others. Okay, that's first sentence is the same. A manager won't like someone else to set the targets for him and then evaluate his performance to find out the deviations from the target set. The study of this psychological conflict in the implementation of budgetary control system is often termed as behavioral aspects of budgetary control. I think it's very clear in the first paragraph itself. In every commercial organization, an employer would wish, I think spelling is wrong there, just correct the spelling, would wish to get maximum output. H is not required, I think there. Have you corrected that? If you are with me, if you are somewhere else on other line, you would not notice where I am, right? Especially the last bench, right? So would wish to get maximum output from his employees by paying them the lowest wages and salaries. On the other hand, every employee would wish that he should get highest salary without taking any efforts. Thus, employer and employee work together with different motives in their mind. This conflict is required to be handled very skillfully. This I have written in general. It's a common thing, in any organization. In any organization, you have got two types of people, employer and employee. What employer wishes? I should pay lowest to the employee and should get maximum work done. That is employer's wish. What is employee's wish? That even if I don't have to go to the office or work and the salary comes to my account every month, how nice it would be, isn't it? That is the wish of employee. So people with conflicting wishes are working together in every organization. Just see how funny it is. People with conflicting interests are working together in an organization, having opposite views, opposite expectations. But still we are working together. So how to handle all this? This is the human behavior. Actually, I'll just discuss in general again. You have to motivate that employee that his personal goals are in line with organizational goals. Or you have to convince that employee that in the process of achieving organizational goals, your personal goals will also get achieved. Means you have to form a commonness in it, that we both are walking on the same path. We both will be able to achieve our own objectives, individual objectives, by working and coming together. Those people who are able to handle this, they will get through naturally. They will work together and the things will take place. Always keep saying intermediate students, because I call them on Sundays, no? Right? So there is a natural reluctance to come for the lecture on Sundays. Naturally, there is a reluctance and it has to be, they are right. But I say can't help, your syllabus is too vast and your understanding level is too low at that stage. Imagining industry and imagining costing subject is something completely new. So I said, if you want me to explain in detail and if you want me to complete the portion in time, I think you'll have to cooperate. You'll have to come on Sundays because you are always having shortage of time. Chartered accountancy students are always having shortage of time. And don't forget that I'm also coming for you. I'm also a human being. I also need a break. My family also want my personal time. But then I'm also sacrificing and coming for you. I have to convince them like this. Then some people realize, okay, that's also correct. Because they feel only they are coming. They forget that a teacher is also coming to the class on Sundays and holidays. For their benefit. So I said, unless your goal and my goal matches, we cannot sit and work together. My objective is also that you should get through in the first attempt. Your objective should also be the same to get through in the first attempt. If our objectives are same, goal is same, then only there is a point in coming together. So I say jokingly in intermediate batch, if you think that you are going to do PhD while doing CA, it means you want to take 3, 4, 5 attempts in doing CA, then all my instructions are useless to you. I keep telling you do homework, right? Be regular, be punctual, right? Appear for the test. Then all this is useless because it will trouble you. Because my objective is you should get through in the first attempt, but your objective is different. So how it will match? So naturally you will not like any teacher like me, right? Why this fellow keeps saying all this? Why this fellow keeps saying in CA final batch, please take care of theory. Theory is important, right? Please open volume 3, right? Please solve the questions independently. Why this fellow keeps saying we don't know, right? Because it is this fellow who wants us to get through in the first attempt. We may not be. So there is a conflict of interest. But naturally we both are moving on the same path basically. Objective should be same. If this is understood, if this is told to the employee that organizational goals and personal goals both will be achieved together by working together, then only the things will work out. How people do those philanthropic activities, that is charitable activities, they are motivated with some purpose in their mind. And then the like-minded people come together and they do the charitable work. When people don't do the commercial work nicely, how people can do charitable work where they don't get any money? But then there are motivated people. And they get like-minded people who have got the same objective in life that yes, we should do something for the society. We should do something for the nation. With some motivation at least they are working, no? So that commonness has to be achieved. So this second paragraph says you have to handle it very, very skillfully. And that skill is required in HR people. What I came to know is the people in HR department, they are taught human psychology also. Because they have to deal with human beings only. Human psychology becomes very important. How human beings think. Once, if I remember, I had discussed A.H. Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs. Do you remember? People at different level have different needs in their life. You have to satisfy that need. A person having crores of rupees, and if you offer him something extra here by way of salary, so that he will work. No, worker will work. The moment you pay him extra, he will work because his need is physiological need, which can be satisfied with money. And that's why in the industries, in the factories, you pay overtime premium to worker. So by paying him extra, you make him work for extra time. Because that worker is ready to work for extra money. But not everyone. People are at different levels of their needs in their life. So you have to identify that which person is motivated by what. What will make that person work. So this all we are dealing with nothing but the same thing. Behavioral aspects. Let's go to the third paragraph. Behavioral aspects explain that many of the goals of budgeting are contradictory. On the one side, we want to be able to fairly evaluate the performance of managers, but we also want to motivate managers, and therefore, even if managers are not involved in the process, managers may find the budget is too challenging and therefore reduce their efforts. That in turn would distort any evaluation. What it is said, the people, generally top people set the budgets, targets for whom? Lower people to follow. So they will generally set the stiff budget. Why? So that these people at the lower level will work better, will work harder to achieve the targets. And lower level people will always feel that these people who set my targets, they always set high targets which are not achievable. So the person wouldn't like to work or will not take efforts to achieve those targets because he is not satisfied with the targets which are set for him, set for his performance evaluation. That is what is written. The participation, fourth paragraph, the participation of managers in setting targets for themselves tend to improve motivation and performance. But the budget themselves may distort the goals as they will be very short term, be focused on cost reduction rather than say quality aspects, and they will solely focus on financial aspects of the organizational goals. There is therefore a conflict between aiming to achieve financial control and communicating the organizational goals. Now what this fourth paragraph means? That your employees are not happy because you set the target for them. So what you should do? You should allow them to set their own targets. Now they'll be happy. Let them set their own target and achieve. But then where organization will move then? Everyone will set the target according to their own wish and their own convenience. And they will set the target which suits them. Don't you think so? And the employee's thinking will always be that he is going to stay for next 3 months. So he will set such targets that he should get some bonus from evaluation of his performance. Don't you think so? Do you think an individual employee can think about the organization's goals, missions and visions and will prepare a plan or budget which will achieve the organization mission? I don't think so. They will set the targets which they individually like. So these are generally short-term targets. These are not long-term goals which the company wants to achieve. That's a problem if you allow them to themselves set the target. And if you want to go by management's vision and mission, then they will set the targets for you. Then you won't like it. Actually, we are discussing conflicts only. Okay, let me tell you one more thing. At the end of this subtopic, the end result will be 0. What did I say? End result will be 0 means? There is no finite conclusion which you can draw. We'll be discussing the conflicts of opinion and human behavior. Do you have a solution for this? No solution. No solution. It means higher people will set the target, you won't like. You set the target, you will not be able to achieve organizational goals. So there will be only discussion on this. There is no magic formula which works everywhere, except I said, if you can motivate your employees and correlate their personal goals with organizational goals. If they feel that, then the things will work out. That is psychological aspect. Otherwise, there is no solution. So you'll find a lot of contradictions are only discussed. And if theory question comes, you have to just write both the points. Viewpoint of employee, viewpoint of employer. That is what the answer it will be. Without any conclusion that you do this and this is the solution to the problem. That type of thing won't happen. Because it's a human behavior. And you know, human behaviors are as many people got created on this earth. Means every person's nature and behavior is different. Every individual person's nature and behavior is different. So you have such a huge variety. What I love to do, you may not love to do. Or someone would hate it at all. Now what can be done for this? What can be done for this? Nothing. And therefore we say difference of opinion. We say generation gap. The way we think, you may not think. You will say we are fool. We will feel you are fool. This keeps on happening. We both are correct actually. We both are correct from our own standpoint. What's the solution? No solution. No solution. Only we should try and understand each other as much as possible. I should enter into your shoes and understand why you are thinking this way. What situation you are undergoing. Then I will be able to understand your feelings better. You should enter into my shoe and understand that what I might be feeling standing here. Then probably there will be some connection. Otherwise from my side I am correct, from your side you are correct. And really speaking both are correct. Really. But we feel always that other party is wrong. That's human behavior, that's human nature. Anyway, we are discussing it in general. As I said, we are just discussing it in general without any conclusion or without any solution. So let's go ahead. Fifth paragraph. Moreover, the budget is framed to act as a plan for a manager or a section or a division. Naturally, budget is a plan for future. The manager may therefore pursue this plan at the cost of other critical success factors that emerge in the internal or external environment of the firm. For example, a production manager may continue to use the planned material mix even if the sales department are indicating that consumers would desire a different product design and the purchasing department have accommodated their purchases accordingly. Now what is meaning here? If I am in charge of my division, if suppose I am a production manager, my objective will be to reduce the cost, cost of production? Because my performance will be compared as a cost center. Production department doesn't generate revenue. So I'm a cost center where majority costs are incurred. So my performance will be compared against budgeted cost versus actual cost. So my objective will be to reduce the cost. So I may use poor quality material to reduce the cost. I may use a different material mix. Suppose there are 3 types of input materials to be consumed in the ratio 50:30:20 ratio. Material mix, 3 inputs required to manufacture one output, 50:30:20 ratio. But this metal ABC, metal A should be consumed 50%, but metal A is costly. What should I do? I should change the ratio, 40:20. What will happen? This material I am consuming less, costly material consuming less, I think there will be a favorable variance. If you can recollect standard costing material mix variance, if you can, which we are going to study in the next chapter, there will be favorable variance because I am concerned with my department's performance. Now what will happen is due to change in material mix, the quality of finished goods is getting affected and your customers are shouting and sales department is saying no, don't do this. Customers are not happy, our sales are decreasing. See, naturally what action you have taken, someone else will also get affected, but then what is the way you are concerned? And this is what even we in our day-to-day life we are thinking, what way I am concerned. Right? I have seen people parking their bikes in the middle of the road. 3-4 friends parking the bike in the middle of the road and talking. You take the vehicle from here and there. We won't listen. Right? We won't move from here. It's our road. We have also paid a road tax. It means I am concerned with my convenience. You take care of your own. This is the way it will happen because you are concerned only with your department. Who knows? So this is how, therefore, when we saw the budget, the top management only should formulate the entire budget for the organization with proper coordination with each other. Otherwise, individual people, they will think about their own individual performance. They may not see the goal of the entire organization. Naturally, it is that way. Sometimes we get the request. You people are very nice. You don't give such requests. Sometimes students give the request. Sir, I won't be able to come for 2 days. Can you give holiday? I said, you are right. Yeah, you are right from your angle. You are right absolutely from your angle that you don't want to miss 2 days lecture. But I don't have to think only from one person's or one student's angle. I have to think from everybody's angle. 2 days you want to go on leave. Next day some other student will say, sir, I also want to take a leave for 2 days. So we will never be having a lecture. If I start listening everybody's wish, we will never be able to conduct the lecture. But what the proposals come up, they think only from their perspective, individual perspective. I cannot think from individual perspective. I have to think from everybody's perspective because I have to play a different role. A student is at a different level. This happens mostly at intermediate level, not at your level. Right? Because this 3 years of articleship makes you much more matured. Right? You are grown up a lot. The intermediate students, they don't know anything. Any proposal comes, sir, instead of starting at morning 7, can we start at 7:30? Any proposal comes. I said, then another friend of you will come, why not 8 o'clock? Then fourth friend will come, sir, why not morning 6:30 only? Is there an end to it? I said, I cannot go by your wishes. I cannot go by your wishes. Whatever is decided in timetable, we have to follow that timetable without any deviation. And never bring such request. Sometimes in intermediate batch we get the request, sir, today is my friend's birthday, we want to celebrate in the classroom. At the cost of lecture? For them celebration is more important. For me completing the syllabus is important within time limit. See the different expectations. Expectation gap. Anyway, I said this happens more in intermediate. But I tell them what Rakesh Agrawal is in first few days. Those who know me well, those who have studied with me at intermediate level, in few days I make it very clear what this stuff is. So then all such requests get stopped. The moment I am accommodative, then everybody want to accommodate their own wishes in my plan, which is not possible. Anyway, we are discussing almost the same thing here. I am giving the examples of classroom and practical examples of intermediate final, but then naturally in the organization, after becoming chartered accountant, you will be in an organization. Similar situations you will be facing. Right? First you will be at a junior level. Generally, freshly qualified chartered accountants join the organization as a management trainee or finance trainee. Please remember, your journey or your career in the job profile will start with management trainee or finance trainee. To begin with, fresher, I am saying. And then slowly after few years, you reach to higher level. You yourself will realize the way I used to think when I had joined the organization freshly, and 10 years back when you shoulder a lot of responsibility and you conduct the interviews of candidates and you have to guide the organization, or you are CFO of the organization, the way you think, your thinking would have changed a lot. Naturally, because from that angle you have to look for the entire organization's benefit. You are interested with one organization's responsibility. Here you are interested with a small responsibility. So your style of thinking or behavior also changes when you graduate to higher level. As you move up and up the ladder and you shoulder more and more responsibility, you have to take a very broad view. Naturally, it has to be like that. And it automatically happens. Your thinking or behavioral pattern will change. Anyway, come back. So I was talking about that production manager who is trying to change the mix. Now the production manager then has to choose between the production plan and interdepartmental coordination. Means whether he should go by his own plan or he should go by the coordination of salespeople and purchase manager also, because purchase manager will supply him the material. Naturally, I think view should be the second one. You have to coordinate and go together. While giving the example of lack of coordination, if you remember, I think in the previous lecture itself I said, Maruti Suzuki Limited example, I think I had given in your batch only, that production manager loves to produce Alto. Why? I mean, he loves to produce Alto. He likes that car. But nobody is buying it. Why to produce it? So you have to think of or take care of sales manager as well. Right? So you have to work in coordination, and I think the coordination has to be established at top level only. Top level. So that top to bottom, top down process of budgetary control or preparation of budget, I think is more effective in the organization, and majority organization follow that approach. Anyway, we will see a contrary approach also. We are going to discuss a participative style of budget also. Ahead somewhere it will come, it will appear. Participative style means the budget is prepared from bottom to top. Most of the organization follow which approach? Top to bottom. But you may think or you may make a change and follow the bottom to top approach. That is called participative style of budget. Let us first discuss this. Next paragraph, next page. Many of the conflicts arise due to the human nature of a budgetary control system. Managers do not always follow organizational goals. They do not always think long term, but may be cautious of moving away from the plan. This provides a conflict between many of the goals of a budgetary control system, which needs to be considered at a strategic level when implementing such a system. Same conflict, organizational goals and personal goals could have conflict. So you have to take a lot of care while preparation of budget and while implementing it, because this conflict will arise. Budget, simple example when I told you, just check. Simple example. We don't have to go far away. Your own office, where you are doing articleship or from where you have completed articleship, either or. In the tax audit season, generally the date is which? 30th September, generally. Normal, correct? 30th September. Now the boss, your boss who is a chartered accountant who is running the office, his objective will be, as a boss, you will also become boss after some time, you will become chartered accountant, to complete somehow the work by 30th so that none of the client has to pay a penalty, because client won't be happy for late filing of audit report, correct? What else can he do? It is a statutory guideline. Now clients, you know today's client, what they do. If 30th is the last day, they will come to your office on 29th with incomplete records. You tell them 100 times. That's the way the client behaves. What that boss can do? Can he tell the client, if you are going to come on 28th or 29th, I am not going to do your work. Go to another chartered accountant. Can you afford to do that in today's competition? You have to only request the client to bring the records early. Few percent, 10-20% clients are sincere. Their books of accounts are ready. They will come in the month of April, May itself, and they will get their work done. But there are very few such people. Majority people will come in the last week. Now you also want a holiday in the last week because of classes or because of your exams or because of cousin's marriage or something. You are also genuine. You are genuine. You have some commitment in the last week of September. That's your personal goal. You are right. What boss will do? Tell me. Then he has to finish all the remaining work by that date. And what is the penalty nowadays for late filing of tax audit? 1 lakh? I don't know. I'm not a person who is well versed with direct tax at this stage now. It's long back we have studied while doing CA. Whatever the penalty could be. And today's client, they will impose this burden of penalty or blame of penalty on whom? On chartered accountant. It's because of your delay, penalty is levied. Yes, clients have become aggressive nowadays. And my dear friends, when you submit those returns, last the server gets hanged. Server stops responding, because there is huge traffic which they are unable to handle. There is a limitation of technology also. There is a bandwidth for messages to go. If everybody in India has logged into the system and filing the tax audit return at 12 night on 30th September, how the system will work? And the system fails then. System collapses. You are from last half hour, you are trying to upload the return, it's not getting uploaded. What you can do? These type of things happen. Everyone is right from their own angle. And in such a situation, you have been working and somehow we get the work done. It's every day's requirement. I may start early from my house so that I can reach at right time and start your lecture every day at right time. But traffic is not in my hand. Plus Pune traffic. Right? So sometimes whatever you wish, you get stuck somewhere. Just can't help. But still we have to continue. Let's continue. Budget slack. Anyway, it's a day-to-day aspect. I love to speak on human psychology, though I have not studied. Oh, I have written budget black, right? Budget slack I have to write. Budget slack. Now let us understand it as a concept, then we'll go ahead. Concept of budget slack. As a concept we'll understand, then we'll see what extra is written. This problem happens, slack is a gap. First of all, slack means a gap. It's called slack. In participative style of preparation of budget, where if I am a manager of a particular department, my opinion will be considered in preparation of budget. And then my actual performance will be compared with the budgeted performance. Now, if top management tells me to set my division's sales target, what I will be doing if I am asked to set my own target? Suppose I feel that next month my department can generate a target, sales revenue of around 10 crores. This is what I feel inside. Because I am in that division and that company since a long time, so I can guess what is the market situation. So I am predicting that probably I will be able to generate a sales target of 10 crores. I feel so. I will convey the management that please set my target at 9 crore. Are you getting the point? Why? Because I know if they set the target 9 crores on my advice, I will exceed it. So I will get a pat on my back that you have done very well, your variance is favorable, and I will get some bonus or incentive. Don't you think so? It means I will keep a gap in between what is achievable performance and what I am setting as my own target performance. That gap is called slack, budget slack. So people will build in the slacks so that they are safeguarded at the time of evaluation of performance. Don't forget, when you implement budgetary control process, means after the budget period your performance will be evaluated, and you are more worried about that performance evaluation, and everyone wish that their performance should be favorable. And if I am a production manager and I have to set my cost target, what I will do? I will convey a higher cost target to top management so that they will allow me to work at a higher cost, but I will actually efficiently I will work and will achieve lower cost. So on paper, my performance will be that he has saved money, of the organization, cost savings. So again I'll get some bonus. This type of behavior of human behavior is known as built-in budget slack in the process of preparation of budget. Actually, we are talking about human behavior only, no? Nothing wrong. If you allow people to do this, they are going to build up the budget slacks in between. So let's see. Budget slack is a deliberate, check what is written, deliberate underestimate of budgeted revenue or overestimation of budgeted expenses deliberately. This allows managers a much better chance of achieving their targets. Correct? Managers are worried about achieving their targets because their incentives and bonuses are linked to the achievement of budgeted numbers. Thus, budget affects the approach and behavior of managers. Unrealistic demanding targets tend to affect managers' performance adversely. Unrealistic performance. Allowing managers to set their own targets will introduce slack targets. Are you getting the conflict in two sentences? If I set a target for you but a very stiff target, then it will affect your performance because you will stop working. See, boss tells you at night 10 o'clock on 30th September that up to by 12 o'clock you have to upload 10 tax audit returns. You have to upload 10 tax audit returns. The tax audit report also has to be prepared and to be uploaded. 10. I don't know. You manage. It's your problem. It's such a stiff target that you will not be able to achieve. What you will do? You will not upload a single one. You will close down everything and go home because it is not achievable. Your performance will get affected. Are you getting it? And if boss allows you to go as per your wish, then you will built in budget slack. So they are discussing this conflict between the two. We go ahead. Managers working in an environment where they are expected to meet the budget targets often try to introduce slack into budget. It can have a detrimental impact on the evaluation of actual performance if managers incorporate slack into the budget in order to make it easier to achieve. To sum up, if we go by participative style of preparation of budget to motivate the managers, then managers may introduce budget slack. If you go by autocratic style, do you know autocratic style? Autocratic means somebody else directing you is called autocratic style. Means bossing style. If we go by autocratic style of preparation of budget, that is dictatorship style, I have written there, then the managers will find it difficult to achieve the targets and lose the motivation and confidence to work. This paradoxical situation is discussed below further. I think same thing I am also telling you. If you go by this way, there is a problem. If you go by this way again, there is a problem. So neither you can follow participative style. In participative style, manager will build up slacks. If you go by autocratic style, the manager whose performance will be evaluated won't like it. Will find it is too stiff, so he will stop working. He is not motivated. Now this is discussed below. The heading is effect of budget difficulty on performance. What is the heading? Effect of budget difficulty on performance. Read it carefully. I would love to discuss it a little more using some examples. Otherwise, it's that way boring topic. Effect of budget difficulty on performance. Naturally, I will read it but little later. Now turn the next page and see the graphical presentation carefully before I explain. First, you understand there is a lot of message hidden in the graph. If you can read that graph very carefully, try to, if possible to you, try to read the graph carefully. Or try to interpret the graph. gone through? Let us discuss a little. Right? I am discussing this, trying to discuss it as much in detail as possible. If institute frames a question or case study, right? Only on this, you should be able to answer it properly. Only a case study. This type of diagram is drawn there. Now check what it is. First of all, on y-axis you have performance. On x-axis you have budget difficulty level. And the sentence is effect of budget difficulty on performance. First try to understand the heading. What impact it will have on human behavior due to the difficulty level I set in my budget. So assume I am a boss who will set the performance target for you. Means I will set the budgeted target for you. Against that budgeted target, your performance will be evaluated. Okay? Think this way. Now, if I set the budget target little hard to achieve, means I increase the difficulty level of achieving that target, what impact that budget difficulty will have on your performance? This is the topic. If I set the target more and more difficult, how it will influence your performance? This is the matter of discussion. Are you able to understand this? Because it cannot be understood just by reading. Now, here is the performance, actual performance of yours, actual, right? And this x-axis is the budgeted difficulty level. Starting from easy, means this side on x-axis is easy targets, and as we move here on x-axis ahead, the targets will become more and more difficult. Is that okay? So we are moving from easy to difficult as the difficulty level of budget is concerned, and naturally performance will be from lower to higher. Is that okay? This much is okay? Now, this line which I have drawn, this one, this is the level of difficulty of budget. This is the level of difficulty of budget as well as performance. Naturally, if I expect higher performance for you, the difficulty level will increase. So this line is almost a straight line. I am expecting higher and higher performance from you, but at the same time I am increasing the difficulty level of budget for you. This is budgeted line. Is it clear? Level of difficulty will increase for you, but performance which I am expecting from you will be higher and higher. If I am expecting more and more from you, it will become more and more difficult. If I tell you that, no, I want you to be in first 5 All India rank only. If I tell you that you have to be in All India 5, AIR, in your first attempt, it means what I have done? I have increased the level of your difficulty, but I am expecting a very high level of performance. So both will go together. This is budgeted line, this line. This line which I have drawn, this line is moving up. Check this. This line is moving up and then it suddenly starts coming down. This is actual performance against budgeted performance. Is it clear? This line, this is actual performance. Means you will notice the employee's performance is going up steadily, reaching to the highest level of performance, and then it suddenly starts going down at a rapid pace. This is actual performance line. And difference between actual performance and budgeted performance is called variance. Budget and actual performance gap is called variance. Naturally, here the variance is favorable. Here why favorable? Actual performance is better than budgeted expectation or performance. So this is favorable gap. Here budgeted and actual performance is same, variance is 0, and in this patch it is adverse variance. This much graph understood? Okay. Ideally speaking, the budget target should be set at this point, intersection point, ideally, because here the expected performance and actual performance will match. Listen carefully, because these things are not explained in printed literature. It's a theory topic. I've spent a lot of time there in understanding it. At this point of intersection, there is 0 variance. So whatever target was set for you, the target was as much difficult which you could achieve. So no variance here. This should be the ideal situation where people should set the budget targets. But don't set it here. Reason. At this level, is it your best performance? Tell me. Here variance is 0. You are happy, I am happy. Because whatever I expected from you, you achieved. So you are also happy, I am also happy with your performance because you are able to achieve the performance. So should I set the targets here as a boss? It will be both are happy situation. No reason. Is it your best performance? I think your best performance is here. Your best performance is here. It means if I want the best from you, it means to motivate you, to extract the best performance for you, I should set a little stiff target. Because unless I set a higher target, you will not put in your best efforts. Are you getting that psychological aspect? But here variation will be higher. Adverse variance will be higher. I should understand it well before. That I should allow that adverse variance. I should not scold you or I should not shout at you. Because I wanted to extract best performance from you, which I know is not achievable. For you it is not achievable. Try to understand. When I set the target at this level, you could achieve this much. Means there is an adverse variance, but you have given your best performance. But best performance might be having adverse impact or adverse variance. For example, if I continue with same thing, which I uttered few minutes before, that I want you to be in All India rank. And if you really trust me, believe me or respect me, set that as a target for yourself. Or if All India not first 5 ranks, at least All India rank. Means I have set a higher target for you. My dear friends, if you keep thinking, no, we will do it, we feel some sense in what Rakesh sir is saying, we will try to be in All India rank. And if you actually are, naturally that qualification will remain with you. You will call yourself always as All India rank holder. My observation is, if you set a target for merit, then you happen to clear both the groups. Then you happen to clear both the groups in first stroke. Really speaking, you are little below from your target which you had set. You had set the target for rank, but you happen to clear both the groups. So actual performance was lower, but that was your best performance. Because you had set the target very high for you. Those who set the targets for only both the groups, I should only pass both the groups, they happen to clear only single group. And those who set the target only to clear single group, they happen to clear the single group in 3-4 attempts. Think over it at home, what I am saying. Don't keep the low targets for yourself. No, why? Because our efforts then are guided by achieving that target. If you have set low target, naturally you will work only this much. Set the targets little higher in life. But that target will motivate you to work better. And then your actual performance level goes up. That is the human psychology, my dear friends. I am discussing this topic with you, but then there is something lying for you also inside. That's a human behavior. So set a little higher target. You may not achieve that, but at least to achieve this higher target, you will give your best. And therefore, I think the theory further says that you should try to set it at some level like this, here or somewhere here or little below, where you get the best result from the employees or best performance from the employees, but don't worry about adverse variance, because here the variance will be adverse. But at least employees working best or giving best performance. However, you have to be very careful that it should not exceed a particular limit. If the budget difficulty level of difficulty of budget increases beyond a particular point, it will have so negative impact that a person feels that it is not achievable at all, and then the person stops working altogether. Are you getting the point? Because from here onwards the performance drastically goes down, because the employee feels that the target is so stiff that it is impossible to achieve. It is impossible to achieve. And then he stops working altogether because there is no motivation left. Because he has realized that I won't be able to achieve. Suppose there is a race going on, 100-meter race, which you have to run fastest. And at the start of the race, you have noticed that all other have gone ahead and you are left behind and you will never be in first three. What will happen? The impact will be you will stop there. Forget about it. Even if I am not going to win the race, why to run then? Let's walk. Don't you think so? So if the target you feel is very, very high, which in your mind says, after a particular level of difficulty, your mind says it is impossible to achieve. You will stop working altogether and performance will drastically go down. It means the top management has to be very careful, while setting the level of difficulty. The difficulty level should be slightly below this, till the time it keeps motivating people to give best performance. If its difficulty level increases beyond a level, then you expect the worst performance from your employees. When I said 10 tax audit returns to be prepared and uploaded in 2 hours, you will go home. Let's see what will happen. Not a single tax audit return will be uploaded. Because 10 returns to be prepared and uploaded is impossible. If you can upload 2 returns in that much time, the target should be given to you for 3 or 4, if 2 can be uploaded. Right? So little higher target which motivates you to work and give best performance. That's a human psychology. Anyway, it's all a mind game, my dear friend. In real life also it's a mind game. Let me tell you very frankly. In real life also, it's all a mind game. If you are motivated, performance is best. If you are demotivated, immediately it affects your performance. And we should keep on energizing ourselves, right, to keep us in a motivated mode, always to deliver the best. Naturally it will come out then. It happens with you, me, everyone. We are all human beings. This is, I am discussing in common, applicable to you, me, all together. Everyone. Now we'll discuss from exam point of view also. This was the meaning of effect of budget difficulty level on what? Performance. How this performance is changing with increase in difficulty level of the budget. Let's go to the page 158. From institute's angle I will read now. Effect of budget difficulty on performance. Once budgets have been set as performance targets, you are on page 158. Surely performance will be evaluated. It means if target is set, your performance is going to get evaluated with the budgeted target. That is for sure. This can be simply a comparison of actual with budgeted performance, or alternatively can be a more detailed comparison of actual performance with flexed budget performance. Flexed budget, that is flexible budget, which we had discussed, as is found in the variance analysis and operating statements. The evaluation step is often one of the most argumentative, as it is here that performance is likely to be criticized and employees will be sensitive. That evaluation day is very important. You ask IT people. I think IT people have their performance evaluation once in 6 months or once in a year. Sometimes if you talk to them, sometimes it is done 6 monthly, quarterly, 6 monthly, or yearly once is done always. And that performance evaluation decides their increment, annual increment. So that day is very sensitive for them because they know what will be the result. Like the day our CA result comes out, how sensitive we become, right? Today my performance will get evaluated and I will be declared either pass or fail. So we become very anxious because that is the day on which we will come to know how we have performed. So it is that day. And that happens in employee's life every time. The budget performance is compared with actual. So your mark sheet will be declared how well you have performed or not. Now, the evaluation step is often one of the most argumentative. I have read that, argumentative, as it is here that performance is likely to be criticized and the employee will be sensitive. There are many potential difficulties. Now what are those? Budgets have no motivational effect unless they are accepted by the managers involved as their own personal targets, naturally. Beyond a certain point, where the budget is no longer acceptable, the more demanding the target, the worse will be the result achieved. Beyond a point, the more the difficult target is, worse will be the performance. That is this. Right? This gap will go on widening. Demanding budgets are seen as more relevant than less difficult targets, but negative attitudes result if they are seen as too difficult. Check this sentence again, I have just now explained. What is written? Demanding budgets are more relevant than less difficult budgets. Why they have written this? Check here. Here the budget level is less difficult. But then is it best performance? No. So demanding budgets means they are demanding more than your performance, but they are always better because your performance level also increases if you set higher targets. You will try to work and achieve those targets, so your actual performance also increases. So difficult budgets are always better than less difficult budgets. Always. Acceptance of budgets is facilitated when good upward communication exists. Good upward communication, not downward, because budget is always communicated downward, but there has to be some say. Managers should be consulted, should be discussed. You have to talk to them. So you should allow them to communicate upward with your seniors. Then acceptability of budget targets becomes easier. Are you getting it? Because you feel that yes, you have been consulted while preparing that budget. Then you will accept the organizational budget as your personal budget or target. Are you getting the point? Psychological aspect. If you are consulted. The use of departmental meeting was found helpful in encouraging managers to accept the budget targets. It means you can hold the meetings of that department for whom you are preparing the budget. Let us involve all the people, so it will be more acceptable. Managers' reaction to budget targets were found affected both by their own personality and by more general culture and organizational norms. Naturally, personal attributes are always there with every human being. So your personality, individual personality as well as organizational culture will affect the evaluation process and actual performance. Now the relationship, next page. The relationship between budget difficulty and the ensuring level of performance can be shown graphically as under. That graph we have discussed. Go below the graph now. Below the graph. Budget level that motivates the best level of performance may not be achievable. Got it? Budget level that motivates for best performance, but that best performance is not achievable. At this budget difficulty level, you get the best performance, but then it is not achievable. There is a variance, adverse variance. In contrast, the budget that is expected to be achieved, motivates a lower level of performance as managers no longer aspire to meet the higher budget targets. Are you getting? The target which is achievable is this. Achievable target is this, no? Expectation budget is called achievable. But then this budget doesn't help you to give your best performance then, which is achievable target. So that is also a problem. And best target is not achievable, and achievable is not best. Are you getting? Best performance is not achievable, and achievable performance is not the best performance in one line. So to sum up, I think I have written that sentence. To sum up, the achievable performance is not the best performance of any employee. On the other hand, the best performance of an employee is below the target set. It is not achievable target. Beyond a certain point, the target becomes so difficult that employee loses the motivation to achieve it. As an employee feels that the targets are not achievable in spite of his best efforts, he stops working and the actual performance sharply goes down. Actually, I could have discussed these pages just in 15-20 minutes also. Yes, how much we have read? Just check. Or maximum half an hour I could have taken to do this. But you would have noticed they can frame a case law on this. And this deals with all of us, you, me together, to set our own performance targets. So learn something more than only for the syllabus purpose. I actually wanted to discuss in detail just for that purpose. From syllabus point of view to score marks, definitely yes, I think you have understood. But try to extract something out of it for your day-to-day life, for your own performance, to set your own targets. I'll just discuss one thing before going to case study. Case study will start after the break naturally. After the break, I'll take up the case study. I'll just discuss one general thing. Generally, I don't share personal matters, but just to discuss with you. I've been following a practice since so many years now. I don't remember how many. Might be from last 20-25 years, probably. What is that habit? If you want to take anything from it, then you may take it or leave it. Choice is yours. Generally, at year end, that is on 31st December, we spend our majority time in planning how to celebrate 31st night and how to welcome the new year. Correct? Majority of us are busy doing that. No doubt, that is to be done. No problem. That is to be done. You have to celebrate and welcome the new year. Absolutely fine. However, I would suggest you, which I am doing. I am giving this suggestion only when I am doing it from last 20-25 years. Otherwise, I don't try to give any suggestion that it's not applicable to me, applicable to you. I don't like to do that. I spend at least 1 to 1.5 hours with myself on 31st December night, and I sit with my personal diary. I have a habit of writing my personal diary for years again. In that diary, which I write daily, right? Or if there is some major event, I do write it. In that diary, on 31st December, naturally I have to cut off that year has ended and new year has started. On 31st December, few pages I write about retrospect. Few pages, 1 or 2, and few I write about prospect. This I have been doing since long time. Means what? I try to sum up, because in the diary all major events are written. So I go through them and I try to sum up that how this year has gone by, what I have achieved in that year which has gone by, and what are my targets for coming year. It requires time. I have to sum up what I have achieved and I write it down in points format. Like we write a theory answer in points format, I write down points format. That what I have achieved in the last year and what is my plan for next year. It means every year end what I do, I set the target for myself. I prepare my own budget and I compare it with my actual performance on 31st. And I write that variation. And this plan is prepared for next year. Naturally, next year end on 31st December, I will compare what target I had set for myself and what I have achieved and where there is a scope for improvement or where I have exceeded the targets. This I do. I am doing it since long time. It's a written commitment and I write it down. It's a written commitment with self. See, I don't have any boss to give me the instruction. But then I should give the instruction to myself, no? So I set a written commitment or target with myself in the diary. Whenever there is a confusion or something, I have forgotten that what I had set the target, I can open the diary and see it for myself. That motivates me. Let's see, you had set these targets, where you are moving, how away you are from the target set for yourself. And at 31st December, every time I come to know how much is the difference in the performance gap between what I had set for myself and what I have achieved. This really helps. This really helps. It has helped me a lot. You can take whatever clues you want to and you may try to implement it in your personal life. And when this diary, personal diary, when you read over 20-25 years, you will find how our thinking keeps on changing, how our target changes. At this age of mine, if I go back and 25 years and see what I used to think at that time, what targets I used to set at that time and what are my life targets and goals this time, my dear friends, there is a huge transformation, I would say. Not deviation, transformation. The way I used to think 25 years before and the way I am thinking today, you laugh at yourself what I used to think at that time. But it was correct at that time, at that age. What targets I had set. Or what minuscule targets were there, and where I am today. And whether your graph is moving up or going down, that also you will come to know over a period of time. So this really helps to do self-analysis, provided you are ready to do it. With all sincerity, not for completing the paperwork. You don't have to show it to anyone. It's a commitment with yourself. Written commitment with yourself. And I think there was a dialogue in the picture somewhere, I don't know, which I generally follow indirectly. Once I make a commitment with myself, then I don't listen to anyone. Are you getting my point? If I set a target for myself, if I make a commitment with myself, then I don't listen to anyone. Even I don't listen to me then. Because I have to achieve that target. So it's a self-commitment. Anyway, if you like it, you may use it. Why I told this? Because of this example.